All right, so I assume that everyone is back, although I have not seen all of you, your messages or your faces, but I'm assuming you're back now. Okay. So in the in this slide, you can see we have compared some of the vendors, some of the HRIS vendors based on the number of organizations that were using. So it's a very small sample size. I don't want you to just go with this sample size because it's just only for 23. But it varies on so many levels. Like for example, geographically, there are some places where you will use ADP. There are some places where you might use other vendors like Oracle, Ceridian, SAP, Telio, etc. So ADP is one of the oldest organizations, automatic data processing. That's their full form. And it is something which is very popular across the world. So some companies may use ADP even in Middle East, but I don't see many organizations using ADP. I see a lot of companies use Oracle, a lot of companies use SAP, and nowadays there are other contemporary vendors. Zoho, if you have heard, very cost effective. Even I think I came to know about Freshworks also have started now. So everyone is coming in the race of HRIS, HRMS service providers. But let's compare a few of the popular ones, and then we'll talk about what you need to consider when you're finalizing an HRIS vendor or service provider. So if we go through these HR applications, ADP, you can see, is having a large share when it comes to the service provided, especially in terms of payroll and tax processing. ADP is still one of the best vendors. My personal experience with Oracle, SAP, Telio, and others, I would say one of my favorite tools, HRMS service provider, is Oracle, Oracle PeopleSoft. So Oracle PeopleSoft is one of the best softwares in history of HRMS. Why is it so? Because it has an overall balance of all the services. So even if you are going for payroll, uh, tax administration, tax processing, leave application, management of all the records, recruitment, reporting of trainings, creating a training calendar. I think more than 30, 40 reports are available in different formats in PeopleSoft back when we were using it. So if you ask me overall, cost wise also and functionality wise also and decision making ability and data processing ability, Oracle PeopleSoft is best as per the experience. If you are using SAP in your business, then maybe SAP HCM is the module for HR. SAP HCM can also be really well, uh, used by the companies which are SAP in the business. If you're using SAP in business, then SAP HCM may make sense for you. But problem with SAP is its functionality. It's not user friendly. So like Oracle PeopleSoft is very user friendly, but problem with SAP is the user friendliness. Um, Talio is not that improved version. You are, if you want to invest some money, then there will be a lot which, yeah, Oracle have many softwares. Like for example, yeah, Mohammed is asking about Oracle. So Oracle itself has many uh, softwares. We are talking about here specifically PeopleSoft. Yes, it's an automation system for HRMS, Oracle PeopleSoft. So there will be different types of softwares from Oracle. Business softwares also Oracle have different, like for manufacturing, Oracle have a different software. Warehousing management, they have a different software. I think Oracle also deals with the very niche industries like healthcare and many other processes. But now, in this case, we are talking about Oracle PeopleSoft, which simply means people software or HRMS. Okay, so it is one of the most advanced and easy to use systems. Costing is also, I think, it is Oracle PeopleSoft is cheaper than SAP and ADP. All right. So, like I said, these are some of the common ones. And if you compare, you can see even in this graph, the violet color stands for, I think, Oracle PeopleSoft. Overall, you can see performance of Oracle is better than others. If you take out an average, you will find Oracle is better in most of the places. Right? And followed by ADP. ADP is really good in, like I said, payroll and tax, because it is the oldest one. All right. There are many evaluations in your slides. If you go through your notes, there are multiple slides on this. I will not spend much time on that because uh, that detail you will only need once you are finalizing a vendor. So if you want to consider these slides, you can go back to these slides, and these are not important from the concept point of view or nothing difficult to understand. So yeah, what is important is when you are finalizing an HRIS vendor, what you should consider. So definitely you should consider their customer service. Very important. Why? Because you may not be, especially first time when you are implementing, you are not aware what is HRMS, what kind of capability it may have, what are the processes I should focus on, how much time I can save by adopting this software. So you don't have answer to these questions. Like you have to justify this cost to the management, right? If you are reporting to the general manager or you're reporting to the CEO, managing director, what they expect from you is that, all right, we are ready to spend this $2,000, $1,000 per month. What is going to be the return on investment? How much cost you are going to save? So when you make such projections, you always should look into the return on investment. So that will, how you will come to know about ROI and all, when you talk to this customer service team. So when you are dealing with the customer service team, you always ask him that I want to create a business case to my management. Can you suggest me some, if I have 1,000 people in the organization, can you give me some support in terms of statistics? How much money, how much amount I'm going to save, or some case study where you can provide case study of your existing customer, how much money, how much value the HRMS, HRIS provided to that company. So all these questions your customer service agent or the person who is approaching to you should be able to answer, so that when you are asking for some budget from your management, you have proper business case. So the knowledge of these representatives is very important. Now, like I said, why I personally love Oracle PeopleSoft is not because it is very easy, also not because it is cheaper than others, not cheap, but because of its reporting capability. So if I want to get a retention report, I want to get attrition report, I want to get attendance report, any kind of report, I can simply create template and I can download the report. So that ability I love about Oracle. So that's very important, reporting capability in this software. Also, it will help you to create a case in front of the management. You can send these sample reports to the management and you can tell them, we will get reports like this, which will improve our decision making ability. That's why we need this software, right? So management is always interested into reports, right? Implementation process should be easier. Post implementation support, they should provide you. Ability to change as per your organization. Most of the softwares are flexible. Like for example, you can create multiple shifts depending on your organization. So any industry, these softwares are designed to handle different types of industry and different types of activities and different types of processes. So usually it is flexible if you take any good software. Like I said, very important when you are purchasing such a system is return on investment, usability. I remember one of my companies objected this decision of going with an HRMS. They objected because they said our people cannot use it. It was a logistics company, and I had a hard time convincing the management, the managing director, and ED. They said, Yogesh, what you are talking about? We have drivers, in the field. We have loading officers, clerks who entire day who are out there in the heat. You want to develop this app, you want to have this app and run through the app. These people, uh, they need to be at least 3-4 times a day. Somebody needs to shout on them so that they can work straight. Otherwise, they they won't even listen. So convincing them is something which is very important, and that can happen when you prove the usability. So find out a system which is easy. Try to understand your company's requirements, because I can understand company can implement Oracle PeopleSoft. Not every company can implement SAP. For implementation of SAP, you need to be very, very systematic, right? So if you, like for example, somebody who is using SAP business here in this group will understand what I'm saying. So SAP limits your manual interaction with the system, which is good. That is the purpose of this software, so that you are not doing anything manually. The system is doing everything. But let's say your cutoff date is 31st October. Now, you realize that there were some sales which came on 1st of November or 2nd November, which should go into the billing of October. Now, SAP will not allow it easily. By default, SAP will say cutoff date is this. If the invoice is generated on this date, before 31st of October, you can take it in the billing of October. Otherwise, it will definitely go to November. Now, if you have in-house ERP, you can always change that, right? But you are working on SAP, you cannot do it. So your company should also be at that level where you can use things like SAP or Oracle. You need to have those processes set. Integration with IT systems. So every company nowadays, they have an ERP. So how your ERP is placed. When you are talking to this HRIS vendor, share with him, this is my ERP, this is where my data is, this is the format of my data, this is how I'm keeping my information right now, how you can integrate your HRIS with my ERP. They will tell you whether they can do it, they cannot do it. After that, only you take a decision. Okay. So these are some of the important things related to HRIS. If you have any question, you can ask. Otherwise, we'll move to the next topic. Okay. Now let's talk about employee engagement. Employee engagement. What does it mean? What it does not mean? So let's read this first and then we'll talk about it. Employee engagement is extent to which employee commit to something or someone in the organization. Extent to which employee commit. How hard an employee work as a result of commitment. So first is commitment, first level. From commitment comes work, how hard he is working. And third, how long. So you can see three levels is their commitment. Now, if there is a commitment, how hard you are working, which means how serious you are about that commitment, how hard you are working. And third, how long you show that commitment. This is all in the definition of employee engagement. What it is not? It is not employee satisfaction. Employee engagement is not equal to employee satisfaction. Sometimes people think employee satisfaction survey is used to evaluate employee engagement. No, not true. Employee satisfaction is something else. Employee engagement is something else. Because of this confusion, many times many companies may think that employee engagement means celebrating birthdays, celebrating events in the company, and calling your people and asking them, are you happy working with the company? No, it's not employee engagement at all. Right. So let me draw a picture for you so you all understand what is employee engagement. Imagine this okay, so my tires are going out, not in shape. I'll just leave it. I hope you have understood I'm drawing tires here. Okay, so this is a container, vehicle, whatever you want to call it, moving in this direction. Okay, this direction is your vision, organizational vision. This is the direction of the vision of the organization. So these are certain number of people doing different actions, you can see. So this is your organization, and you can see three sets of people. This one here is pushing your organization in the direction of the vision. We call him engaged employees. He is engaged employee because he is pushing the company in the direction of the vision where the company should reach. However, most of the people you will find here in this location sitting at the top, we call them disengaged employee. And this person, gentleman here, is actively disengaged. Okay. So you can see what these people are doing, and then you can answer certain questions by yourself. So engaged employee is trying to take the company towards the vision of the company. So definitely they are pushing the company forward. Then disengaged employee are depending on the engaged employee to reach or to help organization reach at some place. They themselves are just in the system. They are staying in the organization till it doesn't stop. They have an intent to stay. So tomorrow something goes wrong. Let's say this vehicle meets with an accident. Who is the first one who will leave? Let's say this accident is COVID.
Engaged.
The engaged one will leave or disengaged will leave. If let's say this vehicle meets with this COVID situation happened, employee companies not able to pay complete salary for 1 or 2 months. So let's say who is going to look out for job or who will quickly get down? Is it the engaged one, disengaged one, actively disengaged? Yes, right. So you all are right. The first person is actively disengaged and then disengaged ones. They are going to run immediately. Okay. The engaged one will not run because he is having some commitment. Second question, who is emotionally committed towards the organization? Engaged or disengaged? Who is the emotionally committed? Engaged employee is emotionally committed. Third question, who will stay in the organization for a long period of time? Who will have long-term plans? Disengaged one or engaged one? Again, the answer is engaged one. And my fourth question is, who will refer their friends and family to work for this organization? Okay. Disengaged will refer their friends and family or engaged one? So again, you know the answer is engaged employee. So now I hope you all have understood this concept. An engaged employee is one who is emotionally committed, emotionally attached, and putting his best effort to help organization reach its goal. He is what we call the engaged employee. Engaged employee does not mean sitting in office for 12 hours, 15 hours a day. Engaged employee does not mean always complaining. Engaged employee does not mean a problem creator, but he is always a problem solver. Many times management don't understand this. They think that somebody who is coming with complaints, he is engaged because he is worried about the company. No, somebody who is coming with solutions is engaged. Yes or no? It is very easy to find issues with everything. You can find issues with everything, right? When you walk inside your office, from water cooler, pantry, reception, you can find tens and 20 or hundreds of issues in one day. It is not difficult. It doesn't mean you are engaged. How many issues you found and you resolved? If you provided a solution, then you are engaged. That's how I always see in my organization and where I work. I always promote this idea of solutions. Never respect people who always comes with problem. What will happen? You will make your entire company into a complaint box. Everyone will come with other complaints about each other. Always push your people to come up with solutions. What is the solution? Okay, I have heard this is the problem. Now, what is your solution? What, how things can improve? What you suggest? What is your suggestion? That's what we should do. So engaged people provide solutions, not complaints. Whereas disengaged people mostly, you will find them complaining about everything. So from this diagram, I hope everyone have understood what is engaged, what is disengaged, and what is actively disengaged. You have understood all the three categories. Now it will be very easy for you to understand the concept. Now, if you look here, there are two types of commitment. One is rational commitment, one is emotional commitment. Rational commitment means logical commitment. The company pays me salary, I should work for 8 hours. This is rational commitment. What is emotional commitment? The company is undergoing some stress, they cannot pay me full salary, but I will take company out of this situation so that I can get full salary. That is emotional commitment. So engaged employees have emotional commitment, disengaged ones just have rational commitment. When you have sorry, when you have emotional commitment, you put discretionary effort. What is discretionary effort? Going beyond your call of duty. You spend more time in office or you try to solve problems. Going beyond the call of duty, discretionary effort. What is rational commitment? When you have intent to stay only. When you just want to stay in the company somehow. That is intent to stay. So when you put discretionary effort, it leads to performance. When you have intent to stay, it leads to only employee retention. Right? That is why engaged people they show performance. Why? Because they have emotional commitment, hence they put discretionary effort, which leads to performance. Whereas somebody who is putting rational commitment, they just have intent to stay, they just are retained in the company. Okay, clear? Okay, now there are some some research we are going to share in the next slides. So a strongly non-committed employee When he moves to strongly committed one, so his effort increases by 77%. When a non-committed employee moves to the strongly committed one, 77% increase in the discretionary effort. Similarly, the performance also increases by 20 percentile. So there is this 10-6-2 rule. 10% commitment can increase an employee's, let me highlight it. So every 10% improvement in commitment can increase an employee's effort by 6%, which can improve an employee performance by 2%. This is what we call 6-10-2 rule. Okay. Now, this is an interesting study. You tell me, which of the employee will have more accidents at workplace? Is it the engaged one or disengaged one? Who will have more accidents? The chances of accidents are higher in case of engaged or disengaged. Engaged. All right, engaged. So you all are wrong. There is a study by Molson Coors which tells us that, in fact, disengaged employees have a higher accident rate, whereas engaged employee will have very, very less accident rate. So if you look at this graph, an engaged employee is 5 times less likely than a non-engaged employee to have a safety incident, and 7 times less likely to have a lost time by a safety incident. Try to understand this. Who is working in a manufacturing company out of you? Anyone working in a manufacturing company? Yeah, I agree, Muhammad. I agree with you. You are saying that uh, engaged person is working harder, working more than others. So if you think logically, he should have more accidents. You are absolutely right. But this is a counterintuitive data. Counterintuitive means it is not what we think. Opposite is happening here. Okay, so Wally is working in PowerPoint. Yes, Lady, you can share, please. Lady, you want to share?
Yes, yes. Yeah. I figured this out because, for example, in our case, it's a healthcare facility. Those people that I find disengaged are the ones not even actively reading policies pertaining to safety of work, pertaining to scope of services. So most of the times, they are the ones who are having medical errors in prescription, in manual handling. So this statement, I believe, because these are the ones who are not really actively participating in our various trainings here in the facility. So
absolutely.
That's why
so they do not obey or they do not follow the safety instructions and processes.
Yeah, because their mind, if they're physically here, but their mind is somewhere else.
Yes.
If you ask them about the policy, they will say, yes, we read, but they're not putting it in their minds, they're not implementing it. So we have medication error, we have things like this.
Yes. Yes, very good. Very good example. Anyone else who wants to give example from their industry? If you have observed this. So I 100% agree with Laddie on this because I have seen it in many industries. Let me give example of manufacturing first. So what happens is that in manufacturing we have protocols for each machine. If you are working on a machine, there are certain protocols and there are number of steps that you need to follow, and each step is for a technical purpose or a reason. For example, in the morning, if you need to start the machine, first you need to check the temperature. You need to, if required, you need to check the oil or refill, or use the oil so that it is properly oiled. There are certain preventive maintenance checklists which you need to look at before starting the machine. That is step one. Step two is, obviously, you need to check the raw material, and step three, step like this. So an engaged employee, what he does is he will come at the time. Let's say if 9 o'clock, he will reach by 8:55, right? And he will start going through his preventive maintenance checklist, and he will see, yes, the preventive maintenance team already did everything, so my machine is ready to start. If something is missing, he will call immediately preventive maintenance, and he will say, so you did not sign this is not complete, so how I can start the machine? Now this is an engaged employee, right? Disengaged one may not really care. This is their job. Why should I check? This is job of preventive maintenance. They should do it every day. My job is to push the button and start the machine, right? So they ignored the first protocol. Then if during the day when they are working on the machine also, they are distracted because they are not engaged in their job. An engaged employee is like fully aware, present. He's looking carefully on the line itself and making sure each piece is going in the manner it should go. He will check, inspect once the piece is out. Whereas a disengaged employee will say, this is not my job, this is inspection team. This is out from my machine, I will throw it in the bin, let the inspection team check it. Again, he's ignoring the protocol. So this is what happens when you ignore, when you are disengaged. You start ignoring the protocols. Now, which leads to issues, such as I have seen so many times operators get a shock, electric shock, because they were either standing next to a machine or pushing the machine, touching with hand, or doing some stretching with the machine, then going beyond the boundary. There are yellow markings on a manufacturing floor, going beyond those boundaries and things like that. So that's one area where accidents can happen. I have seen live accident in my workshop where there was a this machine, what we call that, polishing machine. Yeah. So in a polishing machine, you are supposed to wear the glasses, which are provided. You are supposed to wear a mask. You cannot enter the polishing section without it. So one day I got a call that somebody has got, we have to take him to the hospital. I was head of HR this company. I said, what happened? And then they said his left eye, I think he may lose the eye because he's bleeding. Eye is bleeding. So I said, what happened? And then I immediately went there. I came to know that you are supposed to wear those goggles when you are polishing. He was not wearing it. And some of the material because we were used to make stainless steel products. So something, because pressing machine is its RPM is very high. It rotates very fast. So there was a stainless steel small piece which went into his eye immediately, directly in his eye. So when I reached there, they told me, sir, he came late and he was looking for the glass, but he did not find it there. And he said, let me start the work. So now this is a typical example of somebody disengaged because he's ignoring the protocols. Another example was, I remember in our warehouse in logistics company, So somebody reported that, and four people were standing beneath the shelves, and we used to have heavy sugar bags, piled up on the shelves, and the shelf broke, and these four were beneath these sugar bags. So two of them dislocated their shoulders, which was fixed, but two people got fractures also. So when I reached there, everyone said, "Sir, they were in that corner, and these shelves are now. This was old, and we should not keep old shelves. We will not work if the company is not replacing these. We need to have stronger, etc." I said, "Yeah, definitely, we will have stronger if that is the case. But my job is to investigate whether what you are saying is right or wrong." So I asked for my security officer to give the CCTV tapes of the warehouse. So he sent me the CD by evening. So in the night, me and the production manager, we were sitting and we were looking at the CCTV tapes. So what we found was shocking. These four gentlemen, these were loading staff, they were sitting at the pile of these sugar bags and playing cards. So they were really excited and jumping, and so they they were doing all kind of stuff. It's like their family sofa. Ignoring that you are sitting on a shelf, old shelf, which is made of whatever, it's hard plastic or whatever it is, but still it is shelf at the end of the day. The four of them are sitting there and jumping and shouting and doing all that kind of thing. So it was natural. Another example, which happened last year, my wife in my wife's hotel, she told me they have a laundry department, and this gentleman who was responsible for laundry, so he was putting bed sheets. Like in hotels, they have a high number of bed sheets. They come, and then there is a machine to, after cleaning, the machine folds it. So it takes bed sheet inside, then it comes back, rotates, and then it folds, and like this. It always has some sharp edges so that it can fold. Now, one gentleman, he was pressing the machine, bed sheet in machine like this, and he was talking to someone else. So what is happening in United States? Who is winning? Okay. And his hand went into the machine. Now, this is how mostly you will find accidents happen in the shop floor, or uh, even in service, manufacturing. Like Laddie gave example of healthcare, and if you are in service, you can find many such examples. In hotels also, you'll find many examples of small accidents happen when the person who is carrying something, he's not aware. He's not like, for example, you are doing maintenance of a lift, so there are certain steps you need to follow, right? So you cannot be Spider-Man doing things the way you wish to do. You have to follow the steps. Now that is true in my experience, and that's what Molson Coors also saying. What they realized are two things. Number one, disengaged people, because they do not follow the safety instructions and processes, they are prone to more accidents. That's number one. Number two, when they meet with an accident, they meet with severe accident. Engaged employee, even when they meet with accident, it will be mostly a non-critical small incident. But when these employees who are disengaged, when they meet with accident, it can be a serious accident as well, because they are discounting your policies and procedures and protocols. So this is what they also found, that an engaged employee have a $63 cost per safety incident, whereas non-engaged employee, they have 392. So 6 times more expensive than the engaged one. I think this is fairly straight that people who are engaged, they stay with the company for longer time, right? They have higher employee retention. So this is, I think, you will find a slide in the coming slide. Starbucks did this study and they realized that when you have high employee engagement, you also have high advocacy for referrals. Now, this I can give my own example in this case. I used to work in a company where I was not happy. I was not happy with the company culture, company environment, or uh, I worked there for around 1 year, 1 year, 3 months, 4 months, like this. So in my previous company, I remember my son, whenever he was free, like my wife and me both were working, and my son was his Saturday was off. So I did not want him to be in the crèche or at home with maid on Saturday. So I usually used to carry my son to my office on a Saturday. But in this company, I never took him along. Why? Because I was not myself, I was not serious about work or about this organization. So I was serious with what I'm doing, but I am not happy with the way this company was managing themselves, and so there was this engagement level was not there. Whereas in my next company, every Saturday, I stayed in that company for more than 2.5 or 3 years. Every Saturday, me and my son, we used to go to office together. So my son will we used to have a crèche, a play where children can play, and um, we provided him a video game and other games. So every Saturday I used to take him along. We used to have half day on Saturday, so he will come with me and he will enjoy, and then we'll come back. So what I realized, and I thought one day that I never took him in the previous company. Here I am bringing him. What is the reason? The reason was, in this company, I really loved the environment inside the company. Everyone was positive. Everyone was, highly educated, very smart people around me, and a family-like culture. So I remember first day when I brought my son. So the CEO was there and he said, "Oh, he's your son?" I said, "Yes." So he took my son in his cabin, in his place, and then he gave him his, system, and he said, "This is the game which often my son plays. You know this game?" My son said, "Yeah, yeah, I know. I like it." So he said, "Okay, you play here. Uh, Dad and me are going to have a meeting now. So you play here." So that kind of culture we used to have. So also, one of the reason was that I was seen in this company as one of the most respected person because I was very close to the CEO, and given a lot of importance by other people and by him and by the company. So it was like a second home for me because I was engaged. I was obviously working with the company to achieve its vision and mission. So when you work for the organization always gives you back, right? So the same thing I was having a sense of respect from others, and a feeling of family, and ethical behavior, respect for each other. So yeah, it was a very good time. I referred two people in that company. One was my brother-in-law. He's still working with that company. And one was my cousin. He's still, I think he left. Yeah, he left. So these two people I referred from my family to work with that company because I was so happy and satisfied. This is what happens when you are engaged in an organization, like Starbucks also finds it. So when employees show high level of engagement, employee engagement is 73% in this case. 80% of the people say that we will refer our friends and family to work with Starbucks, right? So what it means, if you have higher employee engagement, employee reference will also be higher. If you yourself are not engaged and you are finding out some places to how to complete these 8 hours, and if I go for that job, 2 hours are done. So 8 hours will be somehow completed. So if that is the, uh, that is your attitude towards work in this company because of any reason, it may be not related to your, but it may be the culture is toxic, maybe your boss is not good, anything. So then you will not refer your friends and family naturally. Yeah, you want, when your friends and when you think about it, tomorrow when your friends and family members will join this company, they will have one of these two reactions. One is, why you cheated me? So what wrong I did with you? So why you put me in this place, right? I didn't do any wrong with you. So that is one reaction, and second reaction is obviously thank you that you have helped me with my career and you helped me join this great organization, right? So we always need to be double sure when we are referring our friends and family. We always refer to a company where we find good culture and we ourselves are satisfied and engaged. Similarly, if we have higher engagement, higher customer satisfaction, it's very simple. Now, this is what Gallup also realizes. I'm sure you have heard about the Gallup path or the Gallup strengths. It's an assessment tool. Gallup is known for their employee engagement survey. Worldwide, when Gallup conducted their first research, they found only 13% people are engaged. 87% are not engaged or actively disengaged. So they created this Gallup path, which is very simple. Step one in Gallup path is hire people for their strengths. If you are looking for a recruiter, then hire a person who loves recruitment, who is very strong in recruitment. Because you become strong in any particular skill when you like it, when you like it doing. Right? Isn't it so? So how you become strong with MS Excel? When you like it, when you like uh, looking into different formulas, searching for shortcuts, keys, etc. Because you have some interest in it. When you are interested in something, you naturally become strong in that. And if you are strong in something, it tells something about your area of interest. So the right fit. Right fit is one who is strong in that particular domain. So hire people for their strength. Second, give them great managers. Equally important. Let's say I am very strong in one skill, but my manager is not good. Then I will fail, even if I'm good at doing that. But because my manager is not good, I will not be engaged in my job. Because my manager is not good. My manager doesn't recognize my performance. My manager doesn't appreciate me for something which I did really well. Now that will lead to my disengagement. So one is the right skill, right fit. Second, equally important is manager. If both the things are there, then you get engaged employee. Engaged employee, engaged customer, growth, profit, stock price increases. This is a simple cycle, right? Now, let us see how engaged you are in your current job. So you all have to do this Q12, 12 questions of Gallup employee engagement survey. And let me give you options. So in this survey, you can use these options. Strongly agree, so if you say strongly agree for any point, you get 5 marks. If you say agree, you get 4. If you say can't say, if you say disagree, if you say strongly disagree, 0. So try to attempt this survey, try to fill this survey for your current job, and after answering all the 12 questions in the survey, just calculate your score. Okay, so once it is done, you can calculate your score. If you want to share, you can share. Otherwise, you can keep it to yourself also. And then I will share what does your score mean. All right. So I can see your scores. 24, 20, 19, 51. N has got 51. Muhammad Hamoudi 45. Sonia 42. Casey 47. All right. So what it means is, I think you all are aware. I don't have to tell you who is engaged, who is not engaged. You know it better than anyone else, right? So if you have got 45 plus score, 45 or more than 45, then you are definitely engaged. If your score is below 45, then definitely there are areas where you need to improve. And I think when you were writing this, you might be also aware which part of uh, what needs to be improved in the organization. I think you also noticed that, right? So for example, there are certain things which are very, very important for employee engagement, such as the mission or purpose of my company makes me feel proud. This is something which often ignored but important. Um, at workplace, my opinion seems to count. Again, important. Somebody at workplace, maybe my supervisor, care about me. That's most important, I think. Yeah, having a supervisor who cares about you, who really wants you to grow. I think that's the best thing that you can have. You should be lucky if you have such a supervisor or a manager who wants you to grow. Somebody is talking to you about your progress. So all these are important. Great. All right. So I think that's it. You can use this survey in your company. You can use anywhere if you want to really know. And then you can highlight to your management that we should do something. We should move people from disengaged to engaged. It is possible. We just have to make sure that we provide them the right environment. We improve the quality of our managers, which is the biggest factor in development of engagement. We have clear goals, clear role profiles, clear job descriptions for our people. Like I said, a good culture, good environment in the company. So if we take care of these small things, it's not difficult to move people from disengaged to engaged. All right. So before we end, anyone has some question? Okay, so Maria is asking, are there any activities we can do to increase employee engagement? Yes, Maria, there are a lot of activities that we can do. So, such as an appreciation activity. Where you ask line managers what do they like in their subordinates. So basically we can go to each department. We can organize this department wise, unit wise, or team wise. We can ask managers and peers or every employee in the company of paper. You can write the name of the person. Like for example, I will write Maria. And then because I'm working with Maria, I will write down. So what you have to do, write down at least one or two uh, positives of that person. Maria is very punctual. Next person, may write she's very humble, polite. Next person may write something else. So this is what you can start with, having an appreciation. So how it will help people? First, they will, when they are appreciating each other, there are many things which we want to say to each other. For example, I may have something to say to you if you are working in my team or I'm working in your team. But during the day-to-day operations and all, I may not get time. I really want to say thank you to you, but I never had time or never had opportunity to say. So this activity will help them to bond together and appreciate each other and gel together. That is one part of engagement, right? Now, second is develop your managers. That is very important. Manager development. Make your managers aware about the importance of employee engagement, and you can have 360-degree reviews so that they understand where they stand. So this is a tool for managerial development, to develop the managers. So that is one of the biggest areas of employee engagement, developing the managers, right? Third is focus on a culture. So culture is the, you can say, psychological environment in the company. So these are, in my priority list, these are three top things that will not cost me huge money and will definitely 100% help me to improve my employee engagement, right? Apart from that, there are many things that you can do, like help them in a work-life balance, uh, give them clear role profiles, clear expectations, clear goals that will lead to employee engagement, give them a great induction, orientation, onboarding program, right? I think Laddie mentioned already some of these things. Start a mentorship programs, yes. Focus on collaboration, yes. Right. So all these are activities that can be used. Like I said, first focus on the three things, and then slowly. Obviously, you cannot do everything at one point, one place. Team building activities, yes. So like I gave you example of appreciation activity that will help you to develop the team and improve the environment inside the company. Yeah, it can be a sports activity also, games also, that can also help. Yes, so these are some examples how you can engage your people. Right, Maria? So if I give more examples, then we will forget the initial ones, right? Later on, you can always look into. So like I said, three things are very important. How people behave with each other, number one. Second, how people behave with the manager. And third, how people like their role or their jobs. All the three are important. How people behave with each other and overall company environment, that is the company culture. We need to improve that. How managers interact with their subordinates, we need to improve that. And people should enjoy their jobs. People should find their work fulfilling. There we should work. Then automatically we will get engaged people. Right? All right, great. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week now with the last chapter. So next week we are going to talk about HR audits, HR budget, an interesting topic. So take care, everyone. and see you next week now. Bye-bye. Stay engaged, because when you are disengaged, you will not feel happy for 8-9 hours in a day. So I don't want you to spend 8-9 hours at a workplace where you are not happy, right?
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Yeah. See you next time.